Alright kids, let's go! Battlefield of Eternity, best of 5, the 6th playday of the Masters Clash. 6 out of 14 in total, so slowly but steadily we're getting to the halftime of this entire thing. I mean, it's going to take us a few more weeks, but still we're getting there. We have our first map between Inting for Ruby and Team SoundLess today. So, Inting for Ruby, they did it! Last weekend, they finally won their first map, so it was a huge step into the right direction. They still lost the best of 5, but they were very happy about it. I celebrated a little bit later too, so big step into the right direction. Let's see if they can pull it off again against Team SoundLess today. And of course, let's find out if at some point they're going to decide an entire best of 5 in their favor. It's a bit of a newcomer team. And one of the guys have been putting in the work and they were able to qualify for the Masters Clash. It's one of those things that really tilts me, you know, when people are always like, oh my god, new players, they don't get a chance. Like, fuck off. New players get a chance, but they have to put the work in like anybody else too. And these guys did. They played in the amateur scene, they played in the tournaments, they slowly got better, they made it into the Masters Clash. And yes, right now they're getting a bit slapped around, but every single match that they are playing, they gain more experience, they were able to get their first map win in, and if they stick with it, they will eventually become better and better and also be able to contest some of those teams here. So they're the perfect example that with a bit of hard work and dedication, you can actually accomplish something here. Now, either way, as we're heading into our first game of the best of 5, we got our typical bans already out. So Medivh not banned out, maybe noteworthy, but both of the teams have not played a lot with Medivh, so keep that in mind. We have Rexa and Liming taken right away. NenoP plays a pretty mean Liming, especially if supported well. He had some nice plays over the playdays that we had here at the Masters Clash. Then, of course, Rexa is always a staple. You can also play that bad boy later on with any kind of like stun setup combo with the Nubarak, with Varian. I mean, Sukov is banned, but still, the stun into stun still works quite nice and sets Liming up for the burst damage. Hat with Sylvanas, we got Lucio now in. We got a Blaze as the side tank for now. And yeah, kicking things off here today. I'm kind of happy, honestly. Weather in Valencia is currently amazing. I heard that in Germany they also had like 2 days where the weather was like above 20 degrees, like 24, 25 degrees. But now the Easter weekend, it's just fucking fantastic. Friday's a holiday, Monday is a holiday, a lot of cycling involved. The weekend weather is beautiful. So yeah, you can just like sit in the sun at a bar, chuck down a little bit of a beer, radler, coffee, whatever floats your boat, and oh, whew, quality of life, baby. That's what it's all about. Okay, D.Va gets banned as we're heading into our next 2 picks here. And, well, there's the Diablo ban. And SoundLess, now that we're talking about them, they are really the team that have made quite the splash in the standings because they were kind of supposed to be the number 5. And they really pushed into the top 4. So Chili Mountain has currently a pretty rough spot in the standings. They started to drop further down. Now, of course, there's a few play days left where they can recover, and they had a pretty difficult start into the season too. But it still doesn't really change the fact that at this point they need to step it up quite a bit, and Team SoundLess is, of course, hoping to ride that wave that they currently have. Here comes Varian, predicted him earlier, and we get him indeed. Arthur's on the other side, and Zarya. So they were already expecting that Varian to be taken. We've seen Arthur's now as a pick against him a few times. With Zarya, it's also kind of nice for Arthur's because it pretty much means that one of his weaknesses, closing the distance to the opponent, is mitigated by the speed bubble on level 4. So Zarya can really help him to shine, and so can Lucio, of course. So that's happening. And with our little setup, we just need Farlander to get a hero. And he goes for Jimmy! And that sets us up. Game number 1, everybody. Let's get the show on the road. We got Team SoundLess against Inting for Ruby, the Masters Clash. More Heroes of the Storm action here with Battlefield of Eternity. So let's jump straight in. Let's go! Game number 1, Inting for Ruby against SoundLess. And on the left side, we have the Fish on Arthur's, Hat on Sylvanas, Nox on Lucio, Mindtalk on Zarya for the 4-man lane support. And they're already setting up to try and snipe some structures with Sylvanas as the game starts up. We currently got Wayfarer on Blaze. And on the right side of the map, Team SoundLess with Hydra on Rexa, NenoP and Liming, Shamsi on Ana, Sir Ice Cream, still the best name on Varian, and Farlander is playing Jimmy with Exterminator as the level 1 talent. Yeah, but pretty much the first job of Team SoundLess is to figure out where exactly the blue team is going to try to make their approach, because it is pretty typical, especially for Inting for Ruby, that whenever they play with the Sylvanas, they're trying to get the early damage in. And right now it's only Rexa up at the top, everybody's still hiding. Misha's going to sniff this one out, finds it, and that Howling Blast doesn't connect. But you can see that the blue team sets up their 4-man now all the way up at the top. And of course the red team is rotating over for it too in an attempt to meet that, which leaves us with Blaze and Reyna at the bot lane, so it's literally a Marine against a Fire Bat. We have a StarCraft 101 over here, and only one of those. Ooh, he's getting a little bit pummeled over here. Yeah, still trying to wait for the next minion wave before he makes any kind of moves, so off we go. Yeah, by the way, in the meantime, I kind of wanted to talk about this and I forgot it again. Damn it. It was a little bit of a rant. I'll remember it later. But yeah, anyways. So, for now, we got our top lane. But now that Jimmy is at the bottom of the map assisted by Rexa, it means that each team is going to get one camp. That's exactly what we're going to get there. I have a fly, by the way, buzzing around. I don't know how exactly it got in my studio, but it really likes the lights that I have here. So at some point, if you hear a big clapping, that is Khaldor going 0-0 against the fly and dropping it completely. And by the way, did anybody else did that during their childhood? So my grandparents, they had a pond in their backyard with a lot of frogs and fishes. Did anybody else just like catch flies? I mean, alive. So you caught them with your hand, with your fist, and then you just like slammed them as hard as you could. You threw them onto the surface of the water, so they were dazed a little bit, and pretty much they were just like, you know, like twitching a little bit, and that caused ripples in the waters, and the fish and the frogs were going for it. Anybody else knows that? Anybody else? Was it only me? I hope not, because that would make it really awkward. But yeah, so my fly catching skills are actually fantastic. Years of experience. Years of experience feeding frogs and fishes because I am an animal lover. It's just what I do. Either way, talking about animals, we got Misha, obviously, in this game as well. And Misha needs to set up these stuns together with Varian. I commentated about that a bit during the draft, but that's pretty much one of the biggest jobs. And of course, now that level 4 talents are kicking in, one of the important ones is this one. The speed barrier, everybody. Here we go. That's what Arthas is looking for. I mean, typically, or where that all started was when you played it with Garrosh. So Garrosh was just running into the opponent's team, flipping someone over and throwing them back. And stuff like that happened. So that was kind of cool. But, well, as it stands, he's going to support Arthas with that and helps a little bit as a gap closer. But the taunt is now also through, so they got to be careful with that. But, yeah, there's Limming already going up to the top. Careful, alright. Limming is trying to assist the camp a little bit, and so far the Shaman hasn't been taken down, and yep, that could become a bit of a problem. Oh, the Shaman has... No, there it is still. So Nenopi is escorting this in. They gotta deal with it eventually, but the halftime show is currently taken by the blue team, so at least they are opening up that possibility for themselves. Haven't seen a kill yet, by the way. And off we go. Yeah, here comes the move. Straight up, Farlander. That's Exterminator for you. Right there. Right there. Mad Exterminator value. Then again, Anna! Arthas. Told you, the bubble is paying off already. Is helping him to close the distance. They take Anna down, but they still lose the Immortal because Jimmy is here. So, yep, there's that. Now, either way, with the 1 kill to 0, it could also be that Inting for Ruby is maybe locking the early level 7, but they still need to defend. Now, Anna is now making her way back over towards the top, but I guess the blue team will still have a bit of a heads up on the defense and can chip in some early damage, so it shouldn't really be too painful here. I doubt that they're going to lose the fort, which is of course always the dream if you're pushing with an Immortal, but this one is falling quickly, so there's just no chance. They get the gate, they get the wall, but outside of that, fat chance that they're going to get real value, especially since level 7 was just a tiny little bit faster for the blue team. So here we go. Now what else are we gonna get? We currently have our little setup here on the side with the top now being attacked, and there it is, party time for another camp, and it gets locked in quickly. Nicely done. So Head at this point needs to jump back out. It's still fairly even, but of course we only had that early skirmish. But again, it's still kind of nice to see Inting for Ruby holding their own in the early game. The question is always what happens around level 10 when the heroic abilities are kicking in. Now, to be fair, there's of course with Taunt already quite some kill potential on the side of Team SoundLess. But right now, they weren't able to lock anybody down for Nano P or others to dash tick and the damage and just take them down. So, yeah, push with Sylvanas. This is really what they love. Inting for Ruby loves these little side plays where they're trying to push with Sylvanas. The problem that I have with this occasionally is that they just love to stay. They like to stay too long and then int a little bit. And you see that already happen here, more or less. I mean, it's not as bad as it was sometimes in the past, but they overstay and then they risk losing someone, and that is a bit of a problem. Now, anyways, at the bottom of the map, we got Wayfarer now defending and just pushing the camp out that was taken earlier, but the next Immortal gets announced, and now, of course, we're all looking towards level 10. Got nearly level 9 on the board. If you just play for the halftime show, maybe you go in a defensive position at the beginning, you buy yourself a little bit of time, let someone soak the side lane, then getting level 10 around Immortal number 2 is pretty much the norm. And once that happens, the team that locks it in early might get an advantage in the fight. If both teams get it at the same time, then still fireworks are the norm. So there's that. But well, as it stands, the party is still continuing over here. They're making their play, but that was a nice stun. Good follow-up on this. Mind Talk goes down, and that was a really beautiful setup of Team SoundLess as they get the kill just before the level 10 abilities kick in. And of course, now as the Immortal is already on the board. Nicely done. Now, anyways, we got still the open hunting season for the blue team's Immortal. Fallen, that gets kind of caught here. But here's, of course, the mad damage thanks to his level 1 talent. We're still waiting for level 10 abilities to do a bit more work, and there they are. Heroics are kicking in for Team SoundLess first. And with that, we're now, of course, getting, well, first of all, Warbringer. We got the Wave of Force. We got Unleash the Boars in. And on the other side, the blue team still has to grab this additional wave before they can make any other plays. Blaze, on the other hand, goes down at the bottom of the map. Now, that shouldn't really have happened. Yeah, the taunt this time coming online from Sir Ice Cream, and together with Hydra on Raxa, they were able to get the kill. Of course, the level 10 abilities made that a bit easier, but now we're looking at level 10 on both sides. The problem is still that Inting for Ruby lost that Immortal, and the red team just locked in nearly 100% on the shield. Not quite, but this is still terrifying, because this is a solid push that is now coming their way. Arthur still has to take his ult, and we have seen Syndragosa, I'm just saying. We've seen Syndragosa. And if your goal is pushing, that is something that they could eventually pull out, but nope, they are instead going straight for the Arm of the Dead here, which is the more normal talent to take on Arthur's, of course. And here they try to force the fight on Hydra, and they drop him. Hydra down. And that initial kill is really helping you now. Even the nano-boosted Li Ming can't do anything about it. Still, thanks to the Hyperion... Oh, Fallender, a little bit slow. And he gets out. That was dicey, though. That could have been another kill against Jimmy. But either way, they're now able to take down the fort. So good on Team SoundLess. That gives them a lead in structures. You look over at the kill count, you look over at experience, and it's still quite noticeable that both of the teams are on fairly even footing now. So this is not the out for Inting for Ruby yet, especially considering that they have a Sylvanas in their setup. If they get one of the Immortals, they have a very, very good chance of doing a lot of damage together with it. So that's what they are going to wait for eventually. But still, camps are split between the two teams. And Jimmy at the top is taking a bit of damage against Blaze, but is still pushing him out here. And Wayfarer was trying to get some more damage in against the fort itself, but of course at this point he also needs to deal with the camp, which makes things a little bit harder for him. Yeah, 20,000 damage for Li Ming, so not bad on the setup. Sylvanas, nowhere near that. But also chipping in, of course, still their abilities against the structures. Well, right now, here comes the push again as they're making their play. Already Nano P is nano boosted again. Level 13 talent are going to be up next. And yep, towards the top, Wayfarer is currently dealing finally with the remaining Khazras of the camp. But everybody has pretty much agreed that they're not going to go for any big fights before the next camp is popping up. And therefore, your job is to soak level 13, because that's inevitably going to be the talent here that we're fighting about. And it seems like the red team is going to be a little bit faster once again. So so far we've had, I mean, we had quite a bit of success for Inting for Ruby in the fights, but they haven't really been able to do a lot around the Immortal, and now they're about to lose another one. They're losing Sylvanas just as the fight starts, and if they can't get the counter kill here, then they're gonna be in a lot of trouble. That's 20 seconds on Sylvanas. Yes, that's not a lot, but still it would give a big lead over to Team SoundLess, and the Immortal phases have not really looked all that great for the red, for the blue team thus far. So at this point, we got 13 to 12. They're locking in the extra talent soon, TM, but the Immortal is falling, and that's a halftime show for free for Team SoundLess. They're dominant on the objective. They're absolutely dominant here. The Illusionist is of course now in as well. For Team SoundLess, we have the level 13 talents on the other side too, which in this case gives us the Shattered Armor, and it's defense time for Inting for Ruby. But at the same time, the top is getting pushed by the camp, so that means that you could likely lose that fort, unless you of course defend against this. And it seems like it's going to be Lucio who's going to try to take down some of those shamans, but they can't do that. Maybe a stun lock, but they can't get it against Varian. They're trying again though, and so Ice Cream is not out of this just yet. The fish was trying to walk him down here. Instead, they're focusing on Hydra all of a sudden, and the sound barrier, the speed barrier, the bubble is there once again, and the stun as a follow-up is finally finishing Rexa off. But still, we have the push up at the top where Farlander's just going for the Immortal, and he is burning it down quickly. Nice job by him. Immortal down, and that is another one that is... I mean, this bad boy nearly has 100% shield. Inting for Ruby, they're getting their kills, but it's always the same pattern. They lose a hero at the beginning of the fight, they have to give up a huge chunk of the Immortal progress, then they get their counter kill, but that's still a massive Immortal going through the lane, and they need to win one of those bad boys and use Sylvanas to make it a bit more powerful even. And right now that's just not happening. So they're starting to lose more and more ground here, and that is a huge problem. So once again, another fort is down. The one at the bottom has already fallen, which means both of the lanes are now being pushed by catapults too. And here comes the action as they're going for the team fight again. Had is trying to jump out and is able to escape here. Nicely done. And the Immortal is still chunking away as the boars are getting unleashed and trying to lock them down for another potential kill. And of course, the fight. They're going for Misha, and this time they get it. But the wall has fallen, and the Immortal still is nearly at 100% HP. So they're going for the battle, pushing past the Immortal. The fish is a bit low, though, and gets away. Li Ming is down, and now they need the kills. They need to chase, and they do exactly that. Varian is down. That's the second kill. Farlander is on the run. The fight at the top costs Arthas his life. There's the kill on Ana, and they're going for their next one. The only survivor is Jimmy, and he is able to make it all the way down to the bottom and escape. But the keep has now fallen. They get 4 kills, but they sacrifice their keep for it. You can still call it a win for Team SoundLess, honestly. Yes, they're a little bit behind in experience now, but at the same time, they took the keep down, and that might just be worth it. Of course, with Sylvanas, you can at least go for counter pressure on the structures and take one of the forts down, but that is still you trading a fort for a keep, and that is not really worth it. So they need to repeat that performance. They need to get another big teamfight victory, or they're going to lose the battle of attrition eventually. That's a big problem for them right now. At the bottom of the map, we got Farlander taking a camp, and he should easily be able to escape as the blue team is now starting to make their move down to the bottom. Now, of course, they have the earlier level 16 talent, which is kind of neat. There's an experience lead now for Inting for Ruby. But it doesn't change the fact that they need to do better in the next team fight. The next Immortal is going to be absolutely crucial. You cannot lose this one, or you're going to lose likely the second keep, and then both of the lanes are heavily being pressured by catapults, and in the long run, you're not going to survive that. We're only 14 minutes in, so catapults, they are becoming a problem, but they're not necessarily winning the game for the red team yet. But of course, it's always a threat. Stack progress, 20 stacks for Rexa, so still a little bit short of getting the extra armor for himself and Misha with the quest completion. We also have 27 for Jimmy, so the hit point pool is increasing. Farlander is doing what he can here. They're pushing out the top lane a bit, and there's 2 catapults already, as you can see, so that is an issue. A third one is already about to join, so someone on the blue team side should probably rotate towards the top and deal with that. But instead, they're pushing the bot lane a bit, trying to use Sylvanas here. There's the taunt as the red team reacts to all of this. Immortals are back up. The fight, the kill. Misha down. Can they get more? They need some hero kills, and that was a beautiful move from Arthas with that Howling Blast, but it's not enough to take Farlander down, and they don't want to fight underneath the fort. They used the Army of the Dead already, and in the meantime, the top lane is pushing. And the problem is not only that there's 3 catapults by now. This is actually a Shaman Camp push that we're talking about. So instead, they're focusing on the Immortal, trying to go for the halftime show here, and then I guess use the time frame, but they lose Arthas down at the bottom, and at the top side, the push is still going on, and that's 3 catapults by now that are moving in. They need to deal with this. Halftime show, they at least do a bit of damage here, but they're also being chased, and another taunt is hitting, but Wayfarer is getting out, and they are able to escape, but Arthas is still dead for another 30 seconds. They will be able to take this one down, but of course, the problem still remains. The Immortal is now shifting in, and Farlander on Jimmy is immediately on the job. He's going for it right away, burning it down slowly but steadily, and without Arthas, the blue team pretty much doesn't have a chance to fight. But they also don't really have a choice any longer, so they feel they need to go in here and try and get a kill, and they might just get it against Hydra. If they can lock that in, that would at least be something, would make the defense so much easier. It's not coming together though. Hydra is getting still attacked, and he is maybe getting away. No, they drop him. Nice. Rexa down. A jet propulsion. Beautiful. Connecting with 2 of them. Shamzik and Ice Cream are both in trouble, and thanks to Lucio, they lock in another kill. And they're even trying for Arthur, so they might not get. Knocks a bit too far out, but still with 2 heroes eliminated, that means that a 5-man defense at the bot lane is going to save their keep. Likely, at least. So, kudos to Inting for Ruby. They are holding on. They are not giving up on this game yet. But as the game continues, as time progresses, those catapults are scaling, and the threat through the top lane is going to become bigger and bigger. So they need to do a bit more. They have 10 kills to 5, but they're losing on the macro. They're losing through the objectives that Team SoundLess is getting. Now, it is awesome to see that they're winning these team fights right now. It's awesome to see that they're making decisions that pay off for them, but they still are struggling a bit. And I'm coming back to my point, honestly, that I already made in the draft. These guys are the perfect example that with some dedication, with hard work, you can really start to push yourself into the top teams on a server. So big shout out to them, just showing that it is definitely possible, that all of these memes like, we never got a chance, are just bullshit. These guys are a perfect example of players that played in Heroes Launch for a long time. They just grinded through it. They went into the amateur scene, then they started to be a little bit more ambitious, played in tournaments, played in qualifiers, and they qualified for the Masters Clash. And if you look at their performance here against Team SoundLess and you compare it to Playday number 1, Playday number 2, they might not win this series, they might not win a map, but it is definitely a much better performance from them than before. They're learning, they're getting better, and we'll find out over time where the ceiling is for them. But at least for now, it's kind of nice to have some fresh meat in the Masters Clash. So good for them. An early level 20 is also going to be nice for them. That could help, because now this lead in experience might just pay off. An early level 20 is going to be a big lead into the Immortal. So that could really help them here to maybe win the halftime show and get that set up. So there's another 14 seconds, and they're using the time to take their Shaman Camp. But by now, we also, of course, have the mix in fire. We got the Unyielding Defender in. Arthas went into the Death's Advance. And I guess the Fortified Bunker is going to drop eventually for Blaze. And here we go. That's where you at least need to lock in the halftime show. You have the lead. Of course, you also need to deal with that Shaman Camp that's going to push through the top lane. And catapults, as I mentioned earlier, are going to become more and more of a problem now as they're pushing in here. We're 19 minutes into the game, so that's an issue. But there is still Jimmy at the bottom of the map. And Wayfarer, aka Baby Houdini, is coming in a bit late for the defense. But they take the halftime show. Now, thanks to the spawn here, the catapults are getting taken down, so that's good. But another one is already pushing in together with the Shaman. But this time, they are the ones making the play. Because level 20 is still not there for Team SoundLess. It's still not here. And that means the first objective in this game for Inting for Ruby has just now been taken. Now, they still need to take the catapult down. That's where possession comes into play again. I like that. It's always nasty when you have catapults on the other side pushing in and Sylvanas just does her thing with possession. So good shit. But now they really need to use her to push. And there's the 20, which gives us the execute. And this is Inting for Ruby. Guys, this has to do damage. The fort is gonna fall, we all know that. The keep should fall. Can they get kills? Can they go for core? Can they use Sylvanas just perfectly to push all this down, yes or no? The shield isn't huge. I mean, there is a shield there, don't get me wrong, but it's not gigantic. But they need to at least take the keep, and if they take the keep, then it is even Steven in this game. So this is the moment where they can show all of this. And they're already starting to push through the wall, through the gate, but as you can see, the Immortal is losing hit points quickly because Jimmy with Executioner on level 20 and with the Exterminator is doing work, but he gets isolated. Jimmy is isolated, and he's dead. So is Li Ming. There's a chance they can end the game right here. Inting for Ruby. No freaking way. Oh, Hydra. Look at them. Oh, I've been talking about them last Playday, this Playday too, during the draft, and they're pulling it off. They're pulling it off, everybody. They go for the core, the only objective they win. They use Sylvanas, and they take down Team SoundLess in game number 1. What a start into this best of 5. Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV. Game number 2! Inting for Ruby, they're in the lead, everybody. The boys are doing it. Their second map win in the Masters Clash. Honestly, underdog stories are always the most fun one. I think both of these teams are pretty awesome. I mean, Inting for Ruby is kind of, I said before, they're the punching ball of the league right now. But at the same time, it's kind of cool to see how they're slowly getting better. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you can still nitpick about. But generally speaking, there is definitely a trend where they're getting better and better. And it's awesome to observe that. But then you have also Team SoundLess, who of course have their own little Cinderella story where they were always expected to be like maybe rank 5, rank 6, rank 7 or something. And they are pushing into the top 4. They're currently 4th place and they're doing fairly well. But of course, when you are in that position, you're also getting chased by everybody else, and you need to make sure that you are winning matches like this one against the 8th place in the standing, which is Inting for Ruby, and they're currently behind. Now, with Uther not being banned out, so Ice Cream locks it in right away. That is pretty obvious for 2 reasons. Now, first of all, Uther normally gets banned because he is pretty strong in that position, but also Fish locks that hero in whenever he has an opportunity. So right now Uther is immediately taken away. Hogger comes in, and also Hanzo. This is, by the way, the map choice of Inting for Ruby, so they had map choice this time. And let's see what they can pull off. Again, their map, Hogger good pick, Hanzo good pick, but they let Sonya slide. So Sonya, late pick honestly. Normally she's the first pick on either side. But we get Vala with that too. So with Sonya and Vala you already have a lot of control over the AoE on the shrine, which is kind of nice. And well, let's see what else we're going to get on the ban patterns. Yeah, I'm not quite sure if you're really banning out Zarya here, because I still expect that there's a second support coming in one way or another, and then second support plus Zarya is a little bit overkill. But if you're worried about that, fair enough. And of course, speed barrier for Vala is also kind of neat, because she can just zip around without problems whatsoever. I still want to highlight that this is another one of those games where both teams play a little bit of the game of chicken, when nobody locks in Medivh or bans Medivh out. And both of the teams have not seen too many Medivh games. So in that particular series, I don't really think you have to ban him. Nobody has really shown any big affinity. It's not like you're playing against Ultralisk or Mako or Hazops or anybody else who locks in Medivh whenever there's an opportunity and then carries the team to victory. But right now, the Arthur's ban, which could even signal that they're thinking about going for Varian again? Nah, I don't think so. I mean, we got Uther in, unless they want to play him solo support, and I don't see that happening. Leo and Deckard Cain. Okay. Yeah, Leo and Deckard, and that leaves us with only the support left. Main tank. It's like, wait, what? I can't be right. So, yeah. Shamsing and Farlander, what are we going to get from them? Let's have a little bit of a look over here. I hesitant a bit. We need that second support still. And it is... Malfurion with Kerrigan. Okay. Stuns, roots, damage to Sonya and Vala mainly. Kerrigan, of course, is going to chip in some as well. But, yeah, Infernal Shrines, last pick. The Fish, the main tank for the team here in Infernal Shrines. What are we going to get? Because Inting for Ruby, can you imagine them pulling ahead with a 2-0? It would be kind of neat. But I think Team SoundLess has other plans here. May is the last pick in our Heroes of the Storm map number 2. We got Infernal Shrines coming up. Inting for Ruby is in the lead against Team SoundLess. So without further ado, let's jump into the second map of the Heroes of the Storm best of 5. Game number 2, Inting for Ruby against Team SoundLess, everybody. On the left side of the map, in the lead. Yeah, you heard it correctly. Inting for Ruby is leading in this best of 5. We have Nox on Deckard Cain, Mindtalk on Hogger. We're having Fish on May, Hat on Hanzo, and Baby Houdini, aka Wayfarer, on Leoric. Yeah, with level 1 kicking in on the Journeyman cooking, we got that in. We got the Ice Storm over the heat transfer. Hydra is playing Sonya. We got Sir Ice Cream on Uther, Shamzik on Malfurion, Farlander on Kerrigan, and Ninopi is going to go into the multi-shot build, so he started things up with a Hot Pursuit. And this kicks us off. So let's see what Inting for Ruby can do in game number 2. Their map choice. If they win here, that would be a 2-0, and then they have 3 match points, which would be pretty exciting for them. And it feels like yesterday that these guys won their first map in the Masters Clash and were super happy about it. Can they do a bit more today? Well, at least at the beginning of game number 2, the answer is no, since they are losing very quickly. Their first hero, and this is Hogger. So Hogger got hogged away, but again, only a small setback. Maybe they can still bring this back. So either way, now we got all the way up at the top. We got Wayfarer and Hydra already pushing this one out. Everybody else is still rotating between the middle and the bottom, as you would expect. At the 1 minute mark, the camps are approaching, so that means that you're trying to get 2 out of the 3. 2 out of the 3, it's kind of the best deal that you get normally. I mean, granted, we have seen games where a team is so dominant from the get-go that they're just simply chasing kills, they get several, and then they get all 3 camps, but it is not the norm. Normally, you have an exchange of camps and then a fight over the 3rd, and that's kind of what we're expecting to see here as well. So, yeah. There's another stun combo. Kerrigan and the Malfurion follow-up. Nice. Now May survives. But that was still a neat setup, and Kerrigan might get punished, and indeed she does. There's the kill. Well done. So yeah, we're gonna take another quick look at this, but that was actually pretty decent. So that initially the connect is completely shut down, and then Fish moves around, Kerrigan blocks her, slows her down, and they get the kill. So that was actually well executed. They didn't panic, they didn't try to simply like save one hero. They immediately realized that they got a kill opportunity, and they were going for it. And talking about kill opportunities, Wayfarer over here is barely getting out, as Hydra was smelling an opportunity, but he couldn't get the kill in with the team. They're pushing down to the bottom of the map again, and they take the first tower down, so good for them. Very aggressive on structures, as we've already discussed in game number 1. Now, we have as level 4 abilities by now also Ruby for Deckard Cain. And of course, we're waiting for the first objective to be announced, which is going to happen now. And that means you need to take your Shaman camp, or at least you should. It's an objective at the bottom of the map. And therefore, the top camp is going to get a lot of value if left to its own devices. And that is what they're going to try and do. So here we have it. Level 6 is slowly kicking in. We're gonna see at the same time what else they can do. Down to the bottom of the map, of course, everybody is slowly starting to get their own setup here now too. Setting this up, and a little bit of a trap. I don't think that anybody is really gonna fall for this, but we'll see. For now, we got Shadows Clarity in. The objective has been announced as well, and they are starting to slowly get the first 2 stacks together. And this time, it is, interestingly enough, the blue team that is taking the lead. Already, Hogger pogging it out. Nice. They're taking a big lead on this one. I mean, damn, son. And Deckard Cain is also zoning them out nicely. More of the hits connect with Hydra. And Hogger is just pogging fantastic here. I mean, damn, going for Malfurion, getting the kill. Oh, and they get a second one. Sonya is down 2. Nicely done. That is 2 kills all of a sudden. And the Arcane Punisher. Look at that, baby. I mean, he's pogging, and then he makes the play for Malfurion as he sees a chance, comes in, bam, gets the kill. They follow up on Sonya, lock in the double, and since they opened up the bot lane already, they can now go for the first fort of their game. Fantastic. Yeah, the Hogger pick early on in the draft already for this map for Infernal Shrines, and as the hero was released, we already talked about him being absolutely excellent here. And he just showed why. Just pogging around, pogging around. And now the first fort is down. And guys, what's happening? Inting for Ruby. Oh no, the stun in front of the wall. Hydra gets out, but that is worst case scenario. That means that the Punisher is going to do so much more damage. You want to bait it over the wall. Big mistake from Team SoundLess here. They're going to lose so much on this one. Now up at the top, there's obviously also another fort being eliminated, so the red team was trying to go for a big hit here. And, well, it's still damage at the keep down at the bottom. Now, the blue team shouldn't really stay too long. They're making a big mistake if they think that they can simply go for the keep itself. They will do a lot of damage to the keep, but they can't take the entire thing. So now we have 3 kills to 1, a 1-level lead. Both of the teams lost a fort. But can they get out without losing some heroes? That's the bigger question. And Farlander, yeah, he tries the combo against Mindtalk, but Hogger is simply pogging away. Now, looking at the bottom of the map, the keep is extremely low. So that was a very, very nice setup from the blue team. They sacrificed their top fort and they just said, okay guys, take the fort, we don't care. We're going to open up the wall at the keep and we're going to get some damage in against that bad boy. And now they have, of course, a shot after any team fight where they get a few kills to move through the bot lane and get good damage in here. So, not too bad. Not bad, honestly. That was... Oh, Malfurion! Shamzik! Oh, don't tell me he gets out. What? Hogger! Hogger! He goes in, gets the kill. The double support is dead. Kerrigan without support is about to fall too. They're gonna get her in just a moment. What a game. What the fuck is happening here? 6 kills, 2-2. Inting for Ruby is dumpstering on them. What is going on here? Check this one out. Malfurion trying to escape, and then Hogger comes in. He gets the kill. Yes, Hanzo dies too, but they follow up with another one against Uther and then Kerrigan. They are crushing, controlling the map, going for the next camp. And Team SoundLess, a team that surprised throughout the Masters Clash, is all of a sudden having mad trouble against the number 8 in the standings. Up to this point, all the teams that Inting for Ruby has won was a single map. And now they are in the lead on map number 2. Now, this game isn't over, but there's definitely a significant lead now. And this objective could already be... Oh, higher! The combo missing and the Ultralisk missing. Yeah, that fight could become a problem now, because if you now win another Immortal and you can do damage in the middle, we could really see a bit of a snowball. So, this is starting to get dangerous. And look at Inting for Ruby. These guys are growing a pair, and it's a big one. I mean, they are aggressive now. Here comes at least the ult. Nice. They're already trying to set up the Dragon's Arrow. They go for Hydra. He goes down again. What's going on? The Strafe with good damage, but they're still zoning the retreat as Nox puts down the scroll. Well done. They make a play for head. He jumps out. They're all a bit low, but it doesn't matter. As long as they don't die, they are going to be fine. And the fountain is, of course, still up. They can go for the shrine. Sonya isn't back yet, and they're still moving in. They went for the camp, and it wasn't taken. Nice collapse onto Hogger on the other hand. Can he get out? And the answer is... yes! Whew. Close call, but they pull it off. Now it's a 5 versus 5 then again. And yeah, of course they want to get level 13 talents. That's the goal of Inting for Ruby. But another Kerrigan combo, and all of a sudden it's really Farlander carrying the team here. Kerrigan today has put on the backpack and is doing work. Same time, Hogger is now getting attacked. They're starting to focus him a little bit more. And now the red team is going for their own kills. They got 2 already, with Hogger and Leo annihilated. And all of this happened after Inting for Ruby has gotten the kill against a few of them and were able to take a slight lead here. So I gotta say that this is actually pretty solid from Team SoundLess. Now, they don't have a level 13 talent yet, but it's gonna come in soon. And we'll see what else they can pull out, because right now it's gonna be rough. Yeah, without the Entomb hitting, you can't get the kill against Malfurion, then you're still behind. The objective is about to be taken by the red team too. Of course, the blue team is trying to catch up, but with 35 stacks towards Team SoundLess, the chances of really winning this one are slim to none. They're trying to set it up for a potential kill. That would at least help for the defense, and Hydra is locked down hard, but there's the Divine Shield. They go for Kerrigan again. Divine Shield is out. Hogger is pogging like a madman. Old man with the ult, but they just can't. Oh, maybe? No, Malfurion gets out too. And then Kerrigan comes in again for another combo. Hogger is down, and Leo is gonna fall if Hydra can connect another hit, and indeed, it happens. So that's another one destroyed. And now, with the objective pushing through the middle, they're making the move all the way through the top for the keep. Team SoundLess is starting to get way more aggressive here. Honestly, at some point, they just must have looked at this and said, like, guys, can we just please focus a little bit? We can't lose this. We're currently ranked 4. We want to keep those standings. We want to make sure that we hold that position and that we are getting just maybe even attack the top 3. We can't lose the ending for Ruby. That's a game that we need to lock in if we want to make ourselves a top 4 team. So yeah, they are definitely focusing much more now on that win, coming in again with another steal on the camp on the top left side. But it's still fairly even experience. The kill still goes to ending for Ruby. So the keep hasn't fallen. In structures, there's now a slight advantage for Team SoundLess because they also eliminated the fort in the middle of the map. But everything else is fairly even. So there's now a chance for Inting for Ruby to bring this back, but they need to dig deep, of course. Journeyman Cooking has 10 stacks for Hogger. We got 15 on Hansel's level 1, not completed yet either. Next objective is topside. And that makes it a bit difficult because only one team still has a fountain here. And the next objective could then move straight towards the top where the keep is already low. So you have to win this or you're going to lose the keep. This is pretty much what Inting for Ruby is facing right now, the situation that they're in. If they are not able to win the next objective, they're going to be the ones losing a keep at least. Could lose the game if they lose a couple of additional heroes through the push. And there's already small rotations topside as Leo was pushing in aggressively. 16 is of course highly important now too, and both of the teams are going to get it for the next objective. There's no doubt about it. Inting for Ruby probably still has some hopes that if they get the early level 16 they might even be able to force a fight, but the gap is so small that should not happen, especially now that Team SoundLess has split the team a little bit and are soaking 2 lanes, or they just soaked 2 lanes for a few seconds, and that's all that they needed to do. So now it's 16 versus 16. That gives us also Manticore for Vala. Huge damage boost for her against every melee hero on the other side. And Benediction for Uther is of course a fantastic talent to have as well. But, well, they're starting to set some traps up again. We got the headbanger over here. It's Ice Cream. And, well, it's a trap, baby! Does he go for... No, he does not go for the Divine Shield. Doesn't have to use it. Lost half of his HP, but with the double support, they can easily heal that up. But here comes the Ice Wall, and can they pull that one off? They're trying for the kill. There's the trap, the Divine Shield on Vala before the Meme Strike can get any value. And here comes Kerrigan. They drop Hanzo and carrying hoppity hop, jumping from one target to the next in the attempt to get a second kill in. But everybody else gets out. The wall is falling slowly though. Farlander a little bit too deep. The Chrysalis helping him out. May is dead, and Kerrigan... she gets out. No way. Kerrigan gets out and they got 3 kills. And now that momentum is hitting hard. They're coming in to drop the fort, and this just isn't looking good for Inting for Ruby anymore. 9 kills to 7 now. Big advantage, obviously. And at the top, the objective is now up as well. So yeah, let's take another quick look at that last fight, just to give you guys a bit of an idea. I mean, the kill against May was great. May was in deep for this one, and then they turned it on Leo. They got the kill too, and Kerrigan was hopping out before she could get dropped as well. So no counter kill for Inting for Ruby. They've lost every single fort. Kerrigan is already on the objective, getting the stacks together for the team, giving them the lead. It's still even talents for the next fight, but this is going to be the last chance for Inting for Ruby to turn it around. They still have an opportunity here. If they are able to get kills in, if they win the team fight and the objective, then they have a chance to slowly bring it back, but it has to be a decisive victory. If they don't get that, then they are going to lose too much now. So this is what everything hinges on. The performance in the team fight all the way up at the top. Can they pull it off right now? They're looking for it, but Leo gets stunned and he is dead. Strafe got popped by Vala right away as they realize they have a kill opportunity. Now the Punisher is also taken. That's a frozen Punisher, which makes things even a little bit worse. The keep is definitely a goner. And then the question is, what else can they do here? They're all starting to move straight through the top. Nobody... I mean, Kerrigan is waiting in the wings in an attempt to lock someone in before they actually even see her. But now this should be... honestly, this should be the end. If they... Yeah, they're losing May now too, aren't they? She goes for the trade. No chance. May is down. The keep disappeared so quickly. You couldn't even see it. And now the core is wide open in this second game of the best of 5 series. This Heroes of the Storm match is likely going to end in favor of Team SoundLess. They're going in for it. It's a 5 versus 4 and Leo is low. He's dead. And they can just simply drop the core here. Nicely done. Inting for Ruby with a strong start into the second map, but Team SoundLess is the one to take the victory on map number 2, and therefore they tie the series against the blue team. Nicely done, GG, and well played as Team SoundLess wins Heroes of the Storm map number 2 in this best of 5 at the Masters Clash. Towers of Doom, game number 3, everybody. We got a 1-1 score between the two teams, and Team SoundLess has started to turn up the heat a little bit here. After they realized, guys, we can't just start losing like this. This isn't happening. We've made such a progress throughout the last couple of weeks. We need to really pull it together here. And they did. So they won the second map. Now we got Towers of Doom, which is their map choice, because first pick, first ban went over to Inting for Ruby. So there's that. We have our Chromie and the Vikings ban. It's a little bit sad, Panda. Now, I gotta admit that this is kind of cool to see still, because Inting for Ruby, I think it was one of the qualifiers where the two teams played against each other, and Inting for Ruby got absolutely shit on by Team SoundLess as SoundLess picked the Vikings. I think it was a Cursed Hollow game, I'm not 100% certain, but they got destroyed, absolutely destroyed. You could literally see that they did not know how to react to the Vikings pushes. So since Hydra is kind of known for his Vikings plays, and since he played it on Towers, on Cursed, and some other maps, Inting for Ruby doesn't take any chances here. And they're saying immediately, you know what, like, let's ban this shit out, we're not going to deal with this. Then again, it also, of course, means you let other heroes come through. Sonya gets picked right away. We have Stukov as an early pick. Kind of should lead us into a Nubarak or a Varian pick, because if you already start off with him, you kind of want to go for a little bit of a killer comp. But instead they go for Diablo and Dehaka, also two heroes that are able to get some stuns in. So that can help out. Yeah, we got Cassia banned. Brightwing coming in for the global. A little bit more macro over here. And there's the Nubarak ban, which would still allow for Varian. Now, normally when you play with the Nubarak and Varian, you're thinking more along the lines of playing with Stukov, who has been taken, of playing with the Malfurion, who is still possible. But Brightwing is kind of nice for that too, because what she can do is she can get the Polymorph in, and any kind of CC that you can chip in is already a win. So there's that. Tyke is coming in again. About damn time, baby. He's been pissed. He's been pissed for years, ever since they took his cigar. Especially after they put Hanzo in, and that mofo is just like running around with a cigarette all day long. So Tychus is obviously justified, by the way, incredibly annoyed and angry. So yeah, gotta take that boy down. But May comes in, so we have as the main tank Zarya and Sylvanas again. That is another strong one. So yeah, strong 4-man. And that could become a bit nasty. They seem to like those Zarya plays. They pulled them off in game number 1. They're like, you know what, guys? Kind of did it already. Let's do it again. So Farlander is coming through. And what is he going to take? The last pick. He's the X Factor. The man that carried with Kerrigan in game number 2. It's Zul. More wave clear. All right. Let's go, baby. Bit of a macro style on Towers of Doom. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Towers of Doom. Game number 3 now, a Heroes of the Storm match at the Masters Clash. Here at Playday number 6. So let's jump straight in it. Inting for Ruby against Team SoundLess. Whoop, whoop. The fish, ladies and gentlemen, on Diablo. We got Mind Talk on Zarya. Second time that we see her in the series. Hat on Sylvanas. And yeah, a couple of elements of this particular draft are familiar. So Battlefield of Eternity is, of course, a very different map. But let's see if with similar comp, at least on some of the heroes, Inting for Ruby can pull off another victory. We have Nox on Stukov and Wayfarer, aka Baby Houdini, on DHK. Okay, on the right side, Hydra on Sonya. We currently got Farland on Zul, Ninopi on Tychus, Shamsig on Brightwing, and Sir Ice Cream is playing Mei, everybody. Yeah, for now, level 1, again, the enhanced agility going straight up for the race car over here. In addition to that, we currently got the backlash on Zul. Okay, so the trap. Admiral Akbar wants his line back. Yeah, they were trying to hide there a bit, but nobody really fell for it. Of course, the red team kind of realized, hey, we don't really know where they are. They gotta be somewhere. There's not really a whole lot of bushes left where they could set something up against us, so they have to be there. And they realized that too. So we currently got, with Tychus, a big option for the bigger they are on level 4, so they can chunk down Diablo a little bit harder. So that's something that they can do. Same time now. What else are we gonna have here? We got up at the top the road. I mean, Sonya and Zul are both now trying to push the lanes, and with Zul and Sonya being in the mid and the top, that means that you have a lot of wave clear to deal with on the other side. So you really got to be on your toes, or those minion waves are going to push in against your structures, and you're going to lose them over the long term. Nino P here gets attacked as the... Ooh, they're even getting the Haka down here. All right. Wants to connect the tongue. They're going for Sir Ice Cream, and he gets out. Nicely done. Brightwing is helping out too, but it's a full 5-man, and they're going to go for the camp. It's not really that big of a deal because Sonya's still at the top and has taken her own camp, so that's good for them. And they are aggressive here now. So it's kind of an interesting stance. They're just saying we have a strong 4-man, we can get the Haka into the global. Let's just make their life a living hell and push for the fight whenever we can, take some of their camps away. But they give up some of the position that they could have held at the top lane, where the Haka has now to face off against Sonya and the camp. Both teams hit their level 4 talents around the same time. And Ninopi isn't even going for the bigger they are, so they're not going to try and chunk down Diablo quickly. They're going for In the Rhythm, which is of course the alternative playstyle that you have on him. And talking about Diablo, he is in trouble already. And with trouble, I mean he's dead. That's a nice drag. The problem is that Hydra was not really alone in front of those towers. Nope, they homed in on the minions quickly. And with those kills, or with that kill, we have the red team immediately focusing on the camp and taking that away. So, first kill in the game is in. Dibbles died. Bit of a lead in experience as a result, not only because of the kill, but also the rest that happened. We got the Give Me 20 on level 4, meaning no speed bubble for Zarya. So, no assists through that. Same time now, though, the triple altar phase is popping up, and that's going to be the first one in the game. Top left, top right, that should be an even exchange. And DHK is already on the point. Diablo is even in the area just in case that DHK needs a bit of an assist, but Zul is making no moves towards that end. So they are going to fight over the third altar at the bottom of the map, as you would expect in the normal game. Also gotta say, nice stacking on Tychus. Got on some of the first miniguns, 20 stacks, which is gonna help him a lot when he's trying to get more out here. And just as I say, he's actually losing out on a couple. But the early stacking is super important. If you're doing great on the first few trades, then you're gonna be fantastically set up towards the late game. And of course, with the kill here, this is an easy second altar for Team SoundLess, and the blue team is already starting to lose some ground. Still early on in the game, the points on the core don't worry me too much for them. The more worrisome thing is that you are now behind in experience. And we're talking about nearly a level here. And of course, thanks to Farlander and all the AoE that he brings to the table with Zul and Sonya on top of that, they have a lot that they can do. I mean, Baby Houdini is getting attacked at the top, and he might make it out, but whew, that was still a lot of damage. So, level 7 abilities are now both into, and that means that we got the pinpoint accuracy again. But just while everybody is trying to set up a trap, they're just simply going for the camp and stealing that away. You gotta appreciate that a little bit, because over here they're like, where are they? Where are they? And they're like, well, if you're not here, we're just gonna take this one. And of course with Sylvanas you can push this in even a bit further. So yeah, good for them. Well, the problem that I still have, and I mentioned that a bit at the beginning, I talked a bit about it during the draft, is look at how much damage has been done at these structures already. I'm talking about the middle, I'm talking about the top. This is where all that wave clear that you see with Azul and with Sonya comes through. Now, Sonya might get caught here. Brightwing is trying to help out and is able to help, I suppose, but can they maybe lock someone down? No, instead a fight turns against them and Mindtalk is going to be the one to fall. He's dead. And they're still trying to go for Ice Cream, but even that doesn't work out for them. So now it's 3 kills to 0, and Inting for Ruby is losing ground quickly. And all of that is happening while Zul is still pushing. Now, if you're playing a draft where you're really focusing on wave clear this heavily, of course, you have to adjust your playstyle a bit and focus more on the macro. And that's exactly what Team SoundLess is doing right now. They didn't get their Viking pick that they would have loved to use in this one, I suppose. But they are still doing a ton of damage. They're controlling the camps at the bottom, at least partly, because Inting for Ruby is always aggressively pushing to sneak one away. But with level 10 in the hands of Team SoundLess, there's pretty much nothing that Inting for Ruby can do, as the attack is starting to hit the bottom altar, or the bottom bell tower, so they want this one. And they should be able to get some additional damage in once then the next minion wave is pushing through, because they got a 2-level lead now. It's a 2-level advantage. Take a bit of a look at the experience distribution here, and you will quickly figure out that it's not only these mercenary camps and hero kills that give that big of a lead. No, it's actually the minion experience. A huge chunk of additional minion experience for them because of how they played it out. Dehaka killed by Zul in the middle, and that's one Bella Tower that is more or less up for grabs. Here comes the push again for Mei. Their help is there. 4 shots fired. Zul is not even part of the fight, and still Sylvanas dies. So they are getting crushed. And while this is happening, the middle is gonna fall. Zul is at the top, pushing for the next one, and at the bottom of the map they are of course trying to go for another bell tower too, as Odin is now getting popped by Tigers. Yeah, 45 stacks too on him, and they are murdering at this point. Yeah, they're absolutely murdering here. So it's dicey. Yeah, Diablo is looking for a target, but honestly, well, here he gets one, but he still feels a little bit like a fish out of water as he goes for the lightning breath and gets focused to die. Hydra dodges out on one of the hits from Mindtalk, and they might still be able to get the kill in against Zarya, but thanks to Dehaka now coming to, they can help out a bit. At the top, another bell tower gets taken. Sylvanas is attempting to retake the middle. Stukov dies. They're pushing for Mindtalk as well. And it is just an absolute slaughter. I mean, fights all over the place. Left, right, left. And another bell tower about to be taken. The one in the middle has been retaken. Down here, they locked this one in. I mean, it's fights everywhere. First, you got the kill against Stukov. Then, of course, they made the play for Mindtalk, who was preventing the kill to happen for as long as he could. But once that Zarya was down, there was just no holding that bell tower anymore. I like the rotation through Farlander, but he goes straight for his ult, and look at this shit! He's dropping everything! He's gonna get the kill here! They get the kill against 2 of them! 2 heroes down because of the Poison Nova and the Brightwing follow-up. And yeah, Fish, he's in trouble again, and they're gonna get the drop on Diablo 2, aren't they? Yep, indeed, there it is. Diablos is down. Oh my god. And they're gonna go for the barrage. They're gonna take this one for the barrage, but check this one out at the top. Here comes the Poison Nova, and look at that damage. Look at the amount of damage here. Hat is pretty much immediately down, gets Polymorph too. And now they're taking this, the barrage is starting, and so Ice Cream is defending the top. So the shots are being fired, one after another, and there's an altar at the bottom of the map, so they can fire 7 shots if Brightwing gets the channel. 1 shot in, 2 shots in, they are losing so much ground, and they somehow have to retake, but they need to break through the top, where so Ice Cream and NOP are trying to defend and even using Odin to make it happen. 7 shots fired as the altar is also channel that puts them down to 18, and it just continues. It's an absolute slaughter over here. Farlander is still low. The ice wall to buy even more time. And the barrage does not stop. Zarya is dead. They don't have the level 13 talent. Not a single kill for Inting for Ruby. SoundLess, they stepped it up massively after the loss in game number 1. Diablo goes down. They nearly have level 16. That's going to be a 2-talent lead if they can accomplish that. And the shots are still being fired. They're down to 8 points, down to 7. Another one is coming in. Yep, Sylph is pushing back out, but this is going to be the end of it eventually. They're already moving in for boss, and with only 4 left, this is of course going to end one way or another. 3 points left, 2, the shots are being fired, the barrage is there, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of game number 3 as Team SoundLess takes the lead in the best of 5 series here at the Masters Clash. Another Heroes of the Storm victory for the red team. Dragonshire, game number 4. Well, it could be the last map of the best of 5. It depends a bit on Inting for Ruby, what they can do here. They're already surprised with the victory against Team SoundLess. So again, I'll call that a win, one way or another. If they can pull off more, that would be even better. But you can see these boys and girls are slowly doing their thing. So right now we got Rexa in. We also have Lucio as our first ban. And yeah, for Dragonshire, you want to ban out the king of Dragonshire. So the Rexa ban is not a bad one, especially considering how often Team SoundLess locks in Rexa, just in general on any map. So that's good. But, well, let's see what we're going to get. It's the Uther main tank once again. So Uther as the main tank is getting picked here. But what exactly is Inting for Ruby going to do? Because Inting for Ruby, they had the chance to go for first pick, first ban again. But they went for Dragonshire. Which honestly surprised me a little bit, since most of the time in the past, when they decided that they want to go for a map pick, they went for Tomb of the Spider Queen. They even did that against the Khaldors, which was surprising, since probably the best map that the Khaldors have right now is Dragonshire. But over here, they changed it up a little bit. They went for... is Tomb. They went for Dragonshire instead. And now we got Sylvanas again for head, and we got Sonya. Okay. Alright, so we'll see what they can pull off with that again, but they really love to play with their Sylvanas and try to take some structures down. Oh, Schallswiffer! Where's the janitor when you need it? Brightwing is coming in again, so they got the double support set up once more, and Brightwing really helped them on the last map to not only control the macro, but also, yeah, just to simply save a lot of the targets. That Zul situation at the top lane of Towers of Doom was of course fantastic, where he got in a perfect ult through with his Poison Nova, and then Brightwing came in, saved Zul, and was able to assist him in killing multiple heroes. That backfired hard against Inting for Ruby. Now Vala gets banned, so they can't go for that hyper carry setup again, but they're also banning out Zarya. After Inting for Ruby now picked it twice, you kind of want to make sure that this one is eliminated too. But okay, let's go for the double pick. So what exactly are they going to play this time? We have, with Dragonshire, a map that is very rotation heavy. You need to control 3 points at the same time, so you kind of want to look towards global a bit. And they played Dehaka in the previous ones. Baby Houdini plays a lot, so Dehaka as an option. There he is. We get Anduin too, so whenever Leo comes in with a quick entomb, Anduin is going to try and pull the target out and save it. And yep. But what is the play on the other side? Because we still don't have a main tank yet for the boys. Actually, I'm lying. We have Uther. What am I talking about? Of course we got a main tank. We get Uther, the Lightbringer, that hates snowmen for some reason. And there's the Zagara pick. We've seen Zagara a couple of times from them, and they play it again. So we get Maiev together with that. But yep, there's Zagara. And now the question is, who is hunting Zagara? Zagara is a shit pick when there's heroes on the other side that can chase her and can close the gap and attack her, because she is insanely squishy. But the way that Team SoundLess is playing her in the past was always really interesting, because they make sure that there's pretty much nothing that can attack her directly and can close that gap. There's no Genji on the other side, no Medivh or whatever that can assist in those plays. And then Zagara all of a sudden becomes a bit more stronger, and they played some really nice macro games with that. And Uberak as the last pick. Yeah, and with that, we're heading into game number 4. So Dragonshire, everybody, where Team SoundLess is going to try to end this series. Let's find out together if they can. Game number 4, Inting for Ruby against Team SoundLess. Yeah, 1-2 in the series. Nox on Anduin, Fish on Nuburak. We got Hat on Sylvanas, Mindhawk on Sonya, and Wayfarer on Dehaka. Now, these boys have to try and somehow control Zagara when she starts pushing. And there's a couple of tools that they have. So I've been talking about options like playing Genji, Medivh with the portal, or some others that could be used by the blue team in order to hunt her down. But it's not like they don't have anything. If Sonya goes leap, they have an option. Dehaka can come in and try and attack. Nuburak can go for a dive. And if Anduin, for example, goes into the light bomb, then all of this could lead to a dead Zagara. But it seems SoundLess. They got Hydra on Leoric, they got Farlander on Maiev, so Ice Cream on Uther, Nenopy on Zagara, and Shamzik is playing the right wing. So, here we go. There's another one. Mind Talk, yeah, gets pulled out of the fight. The Drag connects with Maiev, Farlander with the Vault of the Warden, and is also able to escape. Now, when you're playing against the Zagara, it's also, of course, not only about her push power, but it's also the control that she gives a team through vision alone. And we have creep tumors already set up everywhere. Nenopy is currently channeling his inner Jadong in an attempt to ensure that the entire map is covered in creep and that he has full vision of whatever is happening. In an ideal world, you got an Arthas against this, or something along those lines. At least something that does a bit of AoE damage. Some burning beetles or whatnot later. But as it stands, we now have, of course, quite a bit of vision on the rotation for Team SoundLess, which is always kind of neat. But, yep, off we go. Bit of pressure down here at the bottom. I mean, Anduin is not going to have a good time against Nenopy. Of course, the idea is that Hat is going to take the Siege Giant camp here. But so Ice Cream is already figuring that out slowly. And talking about going for camps, they're going for their own camp pretty quickly too, and it's the Bruiser camp. And Mind Talk is now coming in as well, so they're really starting to threaten this. Inting for Ruby is once again saying, yeah, we are willing to fight early on, but maybe not that deep in enemy territory. So, yeah, with Uther rotating over, they let this slide. Now, Nenopy is still holding on to the bot lane here. Wants, of course, to also have a situation in which he knows about the position of everybody else. As I said before, creep spread is going to be insanely important. It's the Zagara ABC, honestly. You really need to be in a decent position where you know where your opponent is, where they approach from, or because if they get to you, you're dead. And for now, we also got the bed of barbs on Nubarak. And talking about Nubarak, he got a little bit attacked here in the middle by Farlander, who was trying to go for a kill. At the top now, with the camp pushing the structures, we still had the red team reclaiming one of the shrines. But the bottom fight is also still popping off as Farlander jumps in with Maiev again, and this time he gets the tether on Anduin. And Anduin is down. Yeah, he gets eliminated. We also got the envenomed spines in, moving straight into the middle. The red team has now double control on the shrines and is therefore threatening the first objective of the game. Not really a comfortable position for ending for Ruby. They have Sonya sitting tight here, but more and more heroes are moving into the mid lane to make this possible. Shamzik is about to move in. Yeah, and outside of the vision, they're going for it, and that is a Dragonite, ladies and gentlemen. Dragonite number 1 goes to Team SoundLess. We're only 3 minutes into the game, so this bad boy is not gonna chunk down too much, but it's gonna open up the wall in the middle. And as long as you play around the Dragon's Breath a little bit and not just YOLO into the towers, you're gonna be absolutely Gucci. Waited for the minions to come in too, so they soaked a lot of the shots, and that is the entire wall eliminated. Yep, at this point, if you control the Dragonite, all that you're kind of trying to do is wait for the opponent's next minion wave and then get the Dragon's Breath in. If you can get at the same time, let's say, the Fountain, then of course you want to get that as quickly as possible, but you still hold on to that DK for, well, as long as you can. Level 7 talents are already ready for them. We got the Willing Vessel now, and they are setting up a bit of a trap. Yeah, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Hydra is there too. Full 5-man setup, but it's not working out. Now the level 7 talent are now ready for both sides, and that means that for now we got the Leeching Scarabs in. Creep spread is still kind of okay, even though I have to admit that the blue team is doing a decent job taking them down whenever possible. But yeah, here we have our little fight down at the bottom of the map now. It's only a single kill in this entire game, but it already paid off dividends. Now Nubarak is double checking what's happening down here. Camp at the top was now taken, so it's going to push through the top lane, but the Haka is still sitting tight and is waiting to have a bit of an assistance so that he can push Hydra a bit farther back. Brightwing is also moving in here slowly. Needs to be very careful. But so Ice Cream is also here, so that means that they can at least disturb this a little bit. The question is Maiev going to jump in for it? Because Farlander is here. They could get the rest in here too. They want that camp. They want to steal it away. Farlander at the tether. Now they're making the play, and Farlander is down. Sonya with a kill. They take the camp. Can they get more kills? This is looking great now, especially since Zagara is getting attacked. Nenopy is low, and this is the reason why it's always bad with Zagara to go toe-to-toe with an opponent in melee range, because you are getting murdered. Brightwing is dead 2, and that's 3 kills to 0 in this team fight. Nice. And of course, thanks to the Sylvanas push, they now have an opportunity to take the bot lane down. They have a camp, they have Sylvanas, and they're pushing in hard to go straight for the fort and drop it. And there's nothing that can really stop them, especially since they're so close to level 10 at this point that they're going to have heroic abilities in just another second. So if the fight is forced at the bot lane, they would be in an advantageous position to begin with. Now, first fort is down, and good job by Inting for Ruby. Team SoundLess got a bit too aggressive. Team SoundLess came in and they were just a bit too aggressive on this one. Thought they could get away with it, and it didn't happen. They neither got the camp, nor did they get any kills, and they lost 3 heroes. So now it's level 10 against level 10. Dragonite is coming up once more, and we have camps focused on both sides. With Zagara now controlling the bot lane, went into more on level 10. The light bomb as expected on Anduin, but we don't get the Sonya leap, so it's not quite that as aggressive as it could be. But now they're attempting to sneak in another DK too. Well, the Haka still at the top, is moving in as well. There's the Cocoon. They want to go for Uther. Why is nobody channeling that shit? Nobody goes for the DK. Instead, the Maw is out and the Haka is finally moving in, but it's already a bit too late. Here comes the light bomb and the follow-up from Anubarak. The big stun. Divine Shield is out. The fight continues, and they try for the counter kill. They stun out Sonya, but Anduin with a big play saves the day for them. Ooh, spicy battle. That was a spicy one over here, but they were able to get the kill. Yeah. Brightwing went down, and just look at this fight. Everything got dropped. The cage, the Divine Shield. They're still hoping to get the Dragonite, but they're a little bit slow on the channel, honestly. And now Leo has taken over at the top and is contested. But of course, Sylvanas is now coming in, and that means that Hydra needs to get the fuck out of there. Especially with Brightwing jumping in. He now has a chance, but still, that got dicey for a second. So the rest of the team is now also moving up. They're just saying, you know what, guys? Let's go. Decide to not go for the fruit fly instead. Nice setup though by the fish. Yeah, still a little bit of work to be done to drop Leo, but they're so far doing well. And Uther has decided that it's not really worth fighting for it. He's just like, guys, I'm going to go down to the bot lane. We're going to do that. Dehaka went in at the bottom now too. So Dehaka went straight in, fighting it out with Uther, but up at the top they were hoping for a bit of a Sylvanas setup, which did not quite work for them. But the fight is about to be forced over Mind Talk again. It comes in with a nice hit against Hydra. And double control on the shrines just as the fight continues. But Leo is of course retaking. Sonya already moved into the middle in an attempt to get the Dragonite. It's a back and forth over here. They're battling for every single shrine for the control. We got a slight lead in experience here for Inting for Ruby, but they're also running out of mana in that battle. The Hat, for example, is trying to get away, and he gets dropped by Farlander. No chance for Sylvanas. Dehaka is all over the place now. Should actually look pretty decent also in the amount of experience that he locked in for the team. And yes, he is sitting at 8,000. But minion experience still in the hands of Team SoundLess. This is probably one of the biggest or the most difficult things to learn properly in Heroes of the Storm, and you can really see it with Inting for Ruby in particular. How to perfectly soak the lanes and make the rotations happen so that you are always presenting still a danger to the opponent's team with ganks, but so that you don't miss out on experience. And it's even easier now than it was in the days of HGC because, of course, there's a movement speed increase that we had, and now you have also those experience globes and all that stuff. But even in today's Heroes of the Storm meta, you can see that there are huge differences between how teams control the minion experience and the lanes. And this is one of the most important things to learn. And if you watch the Hardos, if you watch the Donuts, you will still see a very big gap between them and the Hardos on that level. But even here, it's quite visible. So now we have level 13 talents in. We also got the Divine Shield out and the Cocoon as Ice Cream saves himself, but they're still hoping to go for Farlander, which didn't really work out either. As the push at the top happens, though, there's also a bit of an attack at the bottom lane. Dehaka the only defender, but very quickly, SoundLess is realizing that against the Sylvanas push, not really a lot that they can do. So the fort is down, they're going for the kill, but Mind Talk is also low. The light bomb. Oh, and Farlander, he gets away. The Brightwing save. More as a bit of a trap. Dehaka moving into the middle. He says, fuck it, I'm gonna go for the Dragonite, and they get it. Anduin with a save on Hat, And even the jump out of the Entomb, as Leoric desperately was trying to at least get something out of the fight. 4 kills to 2, nearly level 15. And here we go. That's the setup right now. In the mid lane, trying to use Sylvanas, trying to use the Dragonite to take another 4 down. 2 have already fallen. Inting for Ruby, they take the advantage on the structures. They want game number 5. And they are taking the lead, slowly but steadily. If they can force the 5th game, that would be a massive step for them. It was already a huge win to win a single map. Up to this point, they only won 1. Now, in this series, they were able to secure themselves another map victory. If they can force this to game number 5, that would be their best performance thus far. So can they make it happen? That's the question. Right now, 35,000 damage for Maiev, put her in a position where she's the top damage dealer for the team against the 26k that Sonya brings in. We're only 11 minutes into the game, meaning that it's not that much damage that Dragon Knight dishes out. But they got the fort in the middle, and they did also some work at the bottom, as you can see here. And with the level 16 talents, they have another chance to push this a bit further. They got Epicenter now. And with that, Anubarak becomes even more of a problem. Diving in with a light bomb, but it being applied later, could become a problem. And now, yeah, there might be a fort in the mid lane that falls, but they got the camp at the bottom now, and they are also trying to go for even more, because if they get the bruiser camp at the bot lane, there's a chance that they can push this even further with Sylvanas, go for the bot lane keep, and maybe establish an advantage before the next Dragonite is even ready. So there's a lot that they could do here. Okay, so we got over on the top right side already, Benediction in. A fight coming through. Crushing Hope, plus also the Unyielding Despair is over here. And with that, we could go straight for the level 20 again, considering that Anduin is played out on the other side. Always makes this Entomb and the Buried Alive a little bit less impactful if Anduin can use his trade to save a target, especially once that he gets his 20 and goes for the Glyph of Faith. There's very little that Leo can do with the Entomb. He has to hit the one against Anduin, who should never be in a position where he gets hit all that easily by it. But of course, time will tell. The Global with the Haka is also playing a huge role here. But look how aggressive Team SoundLess is all of a sudden. They know that they need to do something. And Light Bomb is out. The Haka is coming in. And Divine Shield cancelling his ult. Divine Shield was perfect. The fight turns against Leo though, and he is down. The Haka is isolating the rest. Down goes Maiev, the drag on Uther. What a beautiful team fight for Inting for Ruby. I mean, seriously, what a fantastic team fight for them. That couldn't have gone any better. They go for the bottom keep now. Look how the Haka zones out everybody on the right side. That forces the fight on Leo and Maiev. Both of them die, and then the drag on Uther is helping them to secure a 3rd kill. 3 down, and the bottom keep is just not gonna make it. The bottom keep is gonna fall. I don't think they can push for core here with only 10 seconds left before Maiev respawns, but that is a big lead now for Inting for Ruby. The top lane has pushed, so some of the structures have taken damage here too. Anduin is already at the bottom going for the shrine. They're securing the middle. They're moving Anubarak to the top, and the hopes are, of course, to get a Dragonite and then maybe even go core. If not core, then at least 2nd keep. They don't have level 20. They won't have it for the push, but this is still a fantastic setup for them. Here's the channel, and it's happening. They get it. They get the Dragonite, and Nubarak is coming back into the middle. They want to go for the fight here, and now they have to make a choice. Inting for Ruby, without level 20, still a push for core, or do they go for keep number 2 in the mid lane? Already the Maw is out, and they're going back into the middle. They're realizing that the Dragonite is losing hit points too quickly. They have the minion wave already here, so they decide to just try and drop as many HP of the mid keep as they possibly can, maybe even get a kill, and they're looking for it against Hydra. They are not able to secure it though, so Hydra's still alive over here. But the kill against the Haka! Light Bomb is in! Maybe they can drop Leo. And yes, no! He gets healed and gets out. Oh, baby. Hydra low, Shamzik low, but they are the ones who got the kill connected. But it's Maiev that falls next because Mindtalk is stepping it up big time. Barely being saved by Nox. Anduin once more with the trade. But the defense still good enough to make sure that the keep doesn't fall, so SoundLess holds on to their position. But they're nearly 2 levels behind now. And level 20, level yeah, it's nearly there. Inting for Ruby, they might not have gotten as much out of the mid lane push as they were hoping for, but they traded kills. They're now on level 20, so they have a 2-level lead where they can try and push for core, for keep, whatever they want to do here. At least take all of the camps away from the opponent. And it seems like they're trying to go towards the bot lane at least. Now they have to wait for the Haka, but again, he has the global, he can always join up with them. We now have on level 20 the Varian's Legacy, by the way, so no double trade for Anduin against Leo. We also got the Rewind in, we got the Ignore Pain, and Contagion is in as well. But as you can tell, bottom of the map, once again, there's Farlander, there's Nenopi. One level is still missing until they hit their own Storm Talons. Top side gets pushed a bit further, since Wayfarer is trying to use the Haka to its fullest extent, but he needs to be real careful that he doesn't go into deep, because he could get punished for that with just one simple rotation. And yeah, he's falling back already. They're letting level 20 happen. They're hoping for another Dragonite here. And they're just taking all of the camps on the map to apply more and more pressure against Team SoundLess. And SoundLess is playing passive. They are sitting tight. They're sitting at the back. They're just like sitting next to their keeps. They're trying to take at least their own camp. But the whole thought process is here to take experience, get to level 20, and then fight for the next objective around it. But the Dragonite is just now spawned. They are not making a move though. Instead, they're trying to set up a trap at the bottom, I suppose. Mind Talk is here on Sonya. Yeah, it's not baiting this out too much. A bit of a push in the middle by Hat. Dehaka is up at the top, going for the next shrine, but level 20 is so close for SoundLess. Dehaka might have to global into the middle if they want to take the DK there. Level 20 on both sides, and Dehaka is in the mid lane. Dehaka is getting it. Dehaka is going for it. They're going to get the Dragonite. Dragonite is ready. Okay. So, with that, we have, as expected, Burning Despair is in. We got the Redemption. We got the Fury of the Storm. And it's party time. Even without Anduin going for the double trade, he went Burning Despair here. And it's up to the keep. Bot lane is getting pushed. Yeah, they're waiting for the next minion wave. They're dancing around a little bit in the hopes that somebody steps out too much, but they have to wait for the next minion wave. But the DK is already suffering damage. So they want to go for game 5. Inting for Ruby is getting closer and closer to a 5th game here. But they're by no means there yet. As you can tell, they're trying to take the keep, and even with the help of Sylvanas, that is not a done deal. They are super close though, and just a bit more damage and this one is gonna fall, and there it is. 2 keeps down. Now the fight though. Can they win this one as well? They go for Hydra and they drop Leoric. Leoric is down. The Divine Shield on the Ice Cream. Is it gonna save him? Mind Talk with the connect. The spin to win. Anduin is dead. And Nubrak 2. Uther drop, but Redemption is gonna bring him back. Hat is on the run and Farlander is trying to chase him. Bolt of the Storm being used and they are getting out. A little bit of damage against the core shield, but there's no catapults here, so no problem. Fort at the top has fallen in the meantime as the minions are pushing this one out, and the red team is now trying to think, okay, what can we do with this? We have a 4 versus 3 situation on the map. What can we do here? And they're going to the top. They're going to the Bridge of Death in an attempt to open an opportunity up to take a keep down. But good luck with that. I mean, Hat is going to help to burn those minions down quickly. Mind Talk is moving a little bit too far out though, so that could be a problem. The Haka is coming in too, and they shouldn't really fight here, especially now that Hydra is back. It's not a problem for them if they lose that wall, but it would be a huge problem if they lose another hero. Anduin and Anubrak both soon back to business. 10 kills to 5, everybody. And with that, game's not over yet. But there's one team that only has a single keep left, and the other one has all 3 still standing, plus an additional fort. So Inting for Ruby. They can do it. They still have a chance. They are ahead. They are ahead in structures. They're ahead on the macro, and they have the Haka as a good global. With much, much better wave clear, of course, than what Brightwing can bring. Now, camps are again taken. Dragonite hasn't been announced. Well, it has been announced, but isn't up yet. The Haka is already in position, though, as you can see at the minimap. So he's at the top side, waiting for the shrine to spawn. Down here, on the other hand, he might have to help his team out before that happens. Mind Talk gets pushed back in. Here comes the Haka. Contagion. Kenzie connected. Sonya is down. Inting for Ruby. Are they Inting? Are they Inting here? Yes, they are a little bit, aren't they? Sonya and Nuburak are both dead. No, why, team? Why? Team SoundLess, they want to go for the clean win here. They are moving in for another kill, but they cannot lock another hero down. They still have a 5 versus 3 on the map, and now they have to make some decisions too. They could go for the top, try to get the Dragon Knight, and then 20 minutes into the game, make the push happen. Middle of the map, catapults slowly moving in. Someone has to deal with it too. Brightwing is already teleporting back to do exactly that, but now the bot lane, we're gonna have another one attack. 20 seconds for Sonya, 26 for Nuburak, and Leo is moving straight into the middle for the DK. Brightwing, as you would expect, is already defending against the catapult, so that's not going to be a problem. The bottom fort is going to be pushed by the minions here and by the camp, and Hydra is now going for the Dragon Knight in the middle. Ooh, 71,000 damage for Zagara, 70,000 damage for Sonya. Sylvana's a close second with the 65,000 damage that she brings to the table here. Brightwing still holding the top. It's a 5-man defense now for Inting for Ruby. Even if they lose the keep, they are still slightly ahead, but they cannot lose more heroes or it's going to be a push for core. The Dragon Knight, they burn it down as quickly as they can, try to eliminate the minion wave. Nice Wayfarer, but a good Maw to block them, and Anduin again ruining the play here. Ruining the play with a quick trade, and they are still pushing out a bit. Shouldn't go too deep now. They really need to keep especially Mind Talk alive. But here comes the cage and win the heal. And they keep everybody alive. But there's the kill. Fallen again went deep and they get another one. That is 2 down, a third one about to fall, and Nuburak is dead, so is the keep, and it seems like the hopes and dreams of Inting for Ruby to push this to the 5th map are ending right here. They're doing what they can, but it's only 2 defenders that we're talking about now. Hydra might be a little bit low, but this is still rough going. Haka and Hat are the only ones still alive. And Inting for Ruby, they into the bit. They had the lead, but Team SoundLess is just a bit too strong and experienced here in the late game. A great performance today by the red team, but it's just, by the blue team, but it's just not enough to take down Team SoundLess. They are victorious with a 3-1 in our Heroes of the Storm best of 5 on Playday number 6 of the Masters Clash. GG and well played. Congratulations to Team SoundLess, locking in another victory.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description, and check that out. Thanks in advance, and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.